Hello! In this video we will see how to work with archives in Linux. To work with archives we use this tool called tar. This is a very old tool, and initially the name tar and the letters T means tape. So it was a tape archiver. So it archived the files onto magnetic tapes. So you can imagine how old it is, but now it's still widely used for 40 something years. And of course now we do not use any tapes, we just use the files and folders on servers, but tar is still the same. So let's play around with tar using this folder where I have just a few C source files from the chapter 2 of our textbook. Let's see ls with the parameter L that I have quite a few files. They're really small files, but and I will need to add these files to the archive, and then I will need to extract these files from the archive. So we will do both steps in this short video tutorial. Let's start by adding a few of those files into a tar archive. To do that, I type the following command: tar cvf, and cvf, I'm adding the files where. So after tar cvf, I need to type the name of my future archive. So let's name it something like my programs.tar. And after that, after specifying the archive name, I need to specify all the names, all the file names that will go to this archive. So let's assume that I want to add celsius.c, dweight.c, and hello.c. So I want just those three files in my archive. I hit enter and ls, so I can see that now I have a my programs.tar archive with all with some files inside. How to see what is inside this this tar archive? I can use the following tar command. I can write tar tf myprograms.tar, and I can see the contents of this archive. What if I want more details? What I want to list the files in a longer format? In this case, I need to type tar tvf, and v means verbose, myprograms.tar. And in this verbose format, I see all the sizes, the dates, the names, the users, and so forth of my tar archive. Alright, so we know that we can list all the files that we want to appear in the new archive, but what if I have a lot of different files? So we can make it a little bit differently. Let's assume that I want all C programs in my archive. So let me write down something like this: tar cvf all my programs. So I want to name it all my programs.tar, and I want all C files in there. So I just use star, which means any characters, any number of any characters, star.c. So it means all files with the extension C. So I'm hitting enter, and as you can see, all C files are in there. Let's just double check: tar tvf all my programs.tar. So yeah, so all C files are there. And let's look, what do we have in our current folder? As you can see, we have two tar archives, and they have different number of files, but they have the same size, and the size of the archive is even bigger than the total size of all the C programs. That is because tar adds quite a few of overhead into the archives, and this is not an efficient way to save space. So what tar does, it just joins basically many different files in one file, but it does not do any compression. So it does not save any space, and the tar file may even be bigger than the sum of all the files inside the tar file. So if we want to add the files into the archive and compress this archive, so make it something like a zip file that you are used to, we have this special zip kind of zip, which is called GNU zip or GZ. And usually the archives, the compressed archives in Linux, have the extension of tar.gz. So compressed tars compressed with GNU zip. And to do that, we need to use almost the same format as we used to create a simple tar. We just need to add one more parameter here. We just need to add a Z letter. So Z means zip it a little bit, and also it won't be just a simple tar, it would be tar.gz. So again, add all the C files into the all my programs.tar.gz with a zip compression, with a GNU zip compression using this Z parameter. I'm hitting enter, and let's see what happened there. So at the very top of this list, you can see our previous all my programs.tar, and below that you can see all my programs.tar.gz, which is 10 times smaller because it was compressed by GNU zip. Alright, now we know how to create archives using tar. Now let's see how to extract them, again using tar. So to do that, I will create just a temp folder so that we don't mess up with the different versions of the files. And I'm using mkdir temp, a temporary folder, and I want just to copy all my programs.tar into this temp folder. Alright, I'm changing to the temp folder just to see, yeah, so inside this temporary folder I have all my programs.tar, and now I need to extract the contents of this tar archive. Which command do I use to extract the files? Again, I started with tar, and I use xvf, where x means extract. Tar xvf, and I'm extracting all my programs.tar over here. Let's see. Yes, it worked just fine. So I still have this all my programs.tar archive, and I have all the files successfully extracted from that archive. And let's try to do the same with the zipped archive. So I will get back here. I will create a new directory called mkdir temp1 cd temp1 cp all my programs.tar.gz into the temp1 cd temp1. So I'm now inside here, and now I need to extract the contents of a GNU zipped tar archive. And to do that, as you remember, I used tar xvf to extract a simple tar archive, and as you can assume, I just add a Z modifier here, which means that I'm working with a zipped archive. So, and just I specify the archive name. So I'm unzipping and untarring the contents of this all my programs.tar.gz archive into the current folder. Just like this, hit enter, ls, voila, we have all the contents of our files successfully extracted from the tar.gz archive. So this was it. Now you know how to work with tar and how to work with the archives in Linux. This is a really useful skill. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to practice and see you in the next one.